And hello everybody, welcome on back to another episode of Assassin's Creed 3. We are there's two copies of the same person talking. Roughly. They are wearing different outfits. But yeah, we're back in the modern day. Brazil, if I remember correctly. Someone call security. That's not good. Yeah, please don't bug me. I would appreciate that. Definitely a lot of wanted posters. It's also kind of crazy because I think nowadays if there was a wanted poster for you and you tore it down, you would instantly get your ass reported, right?
You copy now?
Loud and clear.
What's the plan?
According to our intel, the power source is being worn as a bracelet by some tycoon's trophy wife. We're working on pinpointing her location, but she's most likely inside a VIP booth on the stadium's upper level. I'll update you when I know more.
Oh, cool.
Now to find a ticket.
We don't have time to play nice. Steal someone else's.
Bit of a dick move, don't you think?
Well, I guess you could try and sneak past security instead.
Yeah, we'll see what we can do. Nice guy Desmond or bad boy Desmond. Also kind of funny though, because it was like, one, I stick out like a sore thumb. Because I do not look anything like anyone
That doesn't look
around
like
here.
normal security.
Because it isn't. Those are Abstergo agents. Cross is probably here too. You need to be careful.
Oh. They're getting a little hot and heavy over there. We're gonna not look in. Not trying to give Desmond a voyeurism kink, I guess. It's also kind of funny that they're wearing little like glow sticks too. Why are you coming this way? Oh. Oh,
Your target's definitely in the VIP area. The entrance
Você
is the
viu
end of
esse
this
homem?
concourse.
there you
Chame
go.
a segurança imediatamente se o vir.
Yeah, contact us immediately if you see me, even though you guys apparently can't see me to save your lives. Can I work my way through the crowd? No.
Careful, Desmond. Security is looking for you. Try and stay blended with the crowd. Move too fast and you'll attract their attention. Can't have you getting arrested.
Okay. Then it looks like we probably need to go that way. Also, thankfully they are extra generous with how fast they detect me here.
Don't forget
Yeah.
about your eagle vision, Desmond.
Ah, good point. What, are you going to narc on me?
Stick close to the crowd and you should be okay. Or look for a way around it.
Ele está aqui! Ele está aqui! O homem dos
Look out!
cartazes!
Seriously, what is the deal with stadiums and piss troughs? It's disgusting. And who thought they were a good idea?
Troughs are time and cost efficient.
I don't even see a stall in here. What if I have to take a dump?
Yeah, please just mute the microphone if you do.
Eu não posso! Ele sumiu!
A little awkward.
Querido, eu vi ele faz pouco tempo.
Watch your back, they're on you.
The question is like, why are you reporting me? What, you're hoping that you get a reward or something, or? Like, Colin really
Looks
has
like I'm
no
close.
reason why they,
Shit.
or has no idea why they're
Another
looking for me
checkpoint.
either.
You're gonna have to find another way around. Security's too tight.
Se não me
here.
deixar entrar, vou perder emprego! Temos que verificar sua identidade.
We need to verify your identity.
Como assim? Trabalho aqui há 15 anos e nunca vi nada como isso. Quem vocês pensam que são?
Sugiro abaixar o tom de voz.
por favor, sai. Tá bem. Passa a porcaria na verificação.
Olha, aconteceu, só isso. A gente não queria que acontecesse. Só
Call me
aconteceu.
nuts.
Sinto muito.
Sente muito? Ela é minha irmã, cara! A porra da minha irmãzinha!
I'm surprised that they
se
let you
ama.
climb up there
Pronto,
then
tá aí,
if
tá
it's
dito.
not actually
A gente
even
se
like
ama e já faz muito tempo.
the way to go.
Almost there, Desmond. She's just on the other side of the stadium.
Other side?
What is this, a Red Hot Chili Peppers song? Like, how long will I slide? Also, so it's a stadium, so it was like what actually is going on here? Is it I would assume if it's like a big packed stadium in Brazil, it's like a soccer game, but if they said it, I definitely wasn't paying attention. Or is it's a boxing match?
Use the catwalks to get across.
Yeah. Okay, different kind of stadium. Ooh.
You're really close now. The power source should be in one of the rooms up here.
One of the rooms up here? Like, nothing like wanting to step into the octagon and tussle a little bit. I think that's one of the fun things where it's like, I've never been in a fight, however, it's like every now and again I'm like, I kind of want to be. Like, it's definitely not my ideal, you know, but sometimes it's just kind of like, you gotta see what would happen if you were in the situation. Oh. Yeah, oh. You really just... You can see everything from here. Watch, I'm gonna come in here, and then something bad's gonna happen, and then...
Hey!
I guess we gotta chase after him? Yeah.
If he gets away with the artifact, we're screwed. You can't let that happen.
Aquele cara tá
Alguém chama a segurança!
problema. Aquele cara tá maluco.
This guy's nuts. Yeah, you should see the guy that I'm chasing. Wow. He's willing to... I wonder if that's what I'm supposed to do, is like, I've got to get him to... well. Oh, did I knock him out? Oh. Couldn't see, everyone got hidden in the...
Better move.
And the
Okay, head for the
foliage.
metro. I'll hold the train for you.
Alguém chama a segurança!
I must say, that's always one thing that I miss is having access to, like, good public transportation.
Aquele cara tá maluco.
Com fome.
I used to live in an area that had the, you know, metro stations and Oh, like, you could literally walk a couple miles to the metro and then go all the way into DC or like a bunch of different places if you wanted to. It was super easy. One of the few times like I've lived anywhere where I could be like, oh, I really don't need a car to get anywhere.
We can get back to Connor whenever you're ready, Desmond. Unless you want to plug in the power source first. Up to you.
Yeah, let's take some time to catch up with everyone, get some cool lore information, you know?
So, what's the latest? Learn anything interesting while you were exploring?
They were working on some weird stuff towards the end. Trying to engineer new bodies and store their minds inside computers.
Failure after failure. It must have been hard for them.
I worry about it too. I mean, they say there's something in here that'll help us, but what is it? Why is it locked up if it's exactly what we need?
I don't know. Maybe it's dangerous. Maybe they wanted to make sure only you could reach it.
That's the other question. What makes me so special?
I guess we'll know once we
You're the
open
chosen
the door.
one, buddy.
Hey, I hope it's not uncomfortable for me to ask, but what happened with Lucy?
I don't know.
I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said anything.
No, it's fine. I really don't know. I was talking to my dad about it. It's hard to say. I mean, Juno definitely took control, but I think I agreed to it on some level. I think I let her in. No. That's not right. It wasn't her. Not exactly. It was more like a program. Does that sound weird? It showed me things.
What'd you see?
That if I didn't stop Lucy, Abstergo would get the apple, and we'd all be dead.
I still don't understand why she turned on us.
I'm sure she thought she was doing the right thing.
Yeah, that's kind of weird. If she wasn't like a sleeper type agent, or like, so I mean, she put in a lot of effort saving us and looking out for us, and then all of a sudden just being like, eh. But I know, like, behind the scenes, one of the reasons they got rid of her is just because she wanted more money for her likeness, which like kind of sucks.
I
but
gotta get back to work. You might want to do the same.
with stuff like that, that always feels weird. It's just like, oh, you didn't want to pay for this person anymore, so it's like we're kind of back to square one. Hey, Dad, got anything
We
for
should
me?
probably get back to Connor.
No. Really not a lot to update on. Probably, I would assume, at least have some more like Juno visions if we go plug in that second power source.
Oh, unbelievable.
What's up?
Your politicians are constantly referencing the Founding Fathers and insisting they must have been in support of one thing or another. I have never seen such a blatant disregard for history.
That's just typical political propaganda.
It's also dishonest and delusional.
Yeah.
How can anyone claim to know what these people wanted based off scraps of paper and wishful thinking?
They're looking for intent. What these men envision for our country and its future.
Idealistic and unlikely. I don't think most of your presidents and senators and judges care what the founders thought. They just want to know
Yep,
how they can
also
bend
true.
old words to achieve modern goals. Who cares if they were deists or theists or wanted a central bank? Why do people need the validation? What should matter is what you, as an individual, believe, and why you believe it. What, are we so insecure that we have to find 18th century letters to validate our beliefs? Oh, look, Mum, a dead man agreed with me. Maybe. If you transpose the letters in his shopping list, you can plainly see he was on my side.
Jesus, Sean. It's a cynical way to look at it.
Doesn't make it less true.
For once, finally, like a base take.
I keep trying to understand how men like Washington and Jefferson could dedicate their lives to the pursuit of liberty and equality, yet have no problem owning slaves. It's hypocritical in the extreme, and your history books make only passing mention of the subject, as if it were of little consequence.
They had a war to win. Country's future to secure. How could they deal with all these issues at the same time?
Spoken like a true apologist. We hear it today, too, that matters of civil rights and equality must wait. There are conflicts to settle, economies to salvage. What do any of these things matter if the people are not free and equal? All of them.
Man. Just... I was like, obviously he's not that bad of a guy. He's a little bit of just like a snark dick, but all I can think of is just the Onion article where it's like, heartbreaking, the worst person you know made a good point.
I wish there was a way for us to share what we learned from the Animus with others. Imagine being able to accurately answer questions about the past, or experience lost civilizations.
But how would you cite it? We can't just reveal the machine's existence to the world.
Why not?
Desmond's right. It would be dangerous. And we still haven't found a way to manage the bleeding effect.
Maybe when we're done saving the world, we can look into it.
Even if we do manage to stave off the apocalypse, it's not like the Templars are simply going to disappear. I suspect our fight will continue long after this latest battle is finished.
Yeah, that's also another thing, because if they did unveil it to the world, one, I was like, there's already, you know, a lot of bad people in power with the Templars that already are making bad use of it. But then a lot of people would like not believe it or until they actually could see it.
Oh, doesn't time fly? Look, I think it's best we get you back in the Animus, hmm?
Okay. But I do still want to see what we got going on with the Juno stuff. Yeah, there's a lot of interesting questions raised by a lot of this. It's like, Desmond definitely hits the kind of naive, like, check marks. Because, yeah, obviously in an idealistic world, it'd be easy to be like, oh, well, you know, we fix one thing and then we move on to the next. But it's like, stuff takes time and there's a reason why certain topics end up being focused on others. Because it's like, rights issues should be the fundamental thing that everyone focuses on, but instead it's always normally about greed and like self-serving. Because at the end of the day, I was like, people don't care as long as it's their rights that they're the ones that they get to, as long as it's their rights that they're entitled to. So many people end up being so selfish and just letting stuff happen. It's just like, we watch as the same thing happens over and over and over again until something big happens. We try to fight against whatever's against us, and then hopefully try not to end up back at square one. But, you know, especially, not to get on like a political soapbox or anything, but you look at, you know, the rights of like trans people and the LGBT community as a whole constantly going backwards as we, you know, go further and further along. It's like, yeah, because the reason why nothing's done is because a lot of people don't give a shit. They do not care in the slightest because it does not affect them. It's like, and there's plenty of people that'll pretend that. Also, I know I'm walking in circles, I apologize. Where the hell? Maybe if there wasn't all just dark texture, I would actually know where I'm going. But I don't know. It's just a lot of like, it was like, it's so funny because it really does just kind of parallel things today, and it's like, what, this game's probably over a decade old, and we're still getting things that fit in context to where we're at now.
Wonder what stories the temple will tell me today.
Yeah, straight up, I was like, it's been over a decade since this game came out, and we're at a completely different time, still dealing, like, I don't know when the US fully came on the rebound from the 2008 recession? I always forget if it's 8 or 9. But, you know, it's little things like that where it's like, oh, okay.
I'm telling you, there's something down here.
Don't be daft.
I don't know, maybe they were sleeping or something and we woke them. Some kind of cryogenics? Or hibernation? I mean, how do we know what the hell they were doing down here?
They were working on a bunch of different solutions, but nothing worked. Just went from one to the next, and then... I don't know. They must have left at some point. After the end.
I wonder what the world would be like if they'd succeeded.
I'm more concerned about what it will be like if we don't.
Salvation. They found a way. Too late for them, but not for you. Sealed to protect it. Though now it bars your way. Find the key. The past will tell.
Also, that's really funny because I definitely accidentally... Oh, okay, because that was where I would have fallen into, but that would have been me falling to my death. And we avoided it somehow, so you know what? Pretty cool. Anyways, like I said, I was like, not to get onto soapbox and make it the whole focus of things, but I think a lot of people deserve a lot more than what we've been getting. Okay, this would be where the new emails start. Am I the only one who thinks we should buy a few space heaters, maybe a couple jackets too? It's cold down here. Sort of figured that as we power the place up, it turn on its climate control systems or something. Guess not. Any of the first civvies liked it this way? All I know is I don't, so I'd really like for us to pick up some sort of heating solution the next time we head out, please. Annoying. Ostega is definitely on to us. Most of the power sources I was tracking are gone. Guess they're rushing to snap them up now that we know what we're up to. We've got other cells scouting for us, running interference, trying to grab anything they can. It's just hard with their numbers and their resources. William Miles, status. Sean's continuing his research for additional power sources. I'm working to coordinate with the other cells, have them doing recon, monitoring for Abstergo. Rebecca's been monitoring your sessions. I'm hoping to duplicate some of the recordings and send them to other cells for further research. Also hoping there's a way to bypass some of these memories, but synchronization seems to dictate you progress in order. Hopefully someday we'll have a way to move through memories more quickly. It would certainly save us a lot of time in situations like this. Why do you delay? If you do not retrieve the key in time, all the world will perish and you with it. Yet you stop to talk or rest. Rest later. When your work is done. If I seem aggressive, if my words feel more imperative than requests, it is because I fear you will not succeed in time and then all of us are doomed. Like I said, I still think that there's something in there where it's like they gotta be using us as pawns to possibly free them. My father was taken from me by Okay, I was gonna say it's the same sender, so I was wondering if it changed. My father was taken from me by human hands, a war they called it, for their freedom. They were not even meant to exist. You were not meant to exist. We conjured you, a mistake, an error that cost us the world. My father would sing to me as a child, soft songs of hope and love, his voice forever stilled when your brutish ancestors took up axe and club. Later turned your own works against us. We might have known what was to come and averted it had you not dragged us into war. This is your fault. American politics. You know, it's rather incredible the way your lunatic fringe tries to conjure the spirit of the founding fathers to support their various causes, and by incredible I mean hilarious. They hold up slave-owning, sexist, homophobes as though there's some sort of ideal to which one should aspire. Oh, and in case you think I added the last bit of fun, as the sex and slavery bits are already common knowledge, sodomy was a criminal offense in every one of the 13 colonies except for Georgia, and Thomas Jefferson, champion of personal liberty that he was, advocated for the castration of homosexuals. Lovely fellows. These founding fathers of yours, and now there's a bit of madness with people asking for the removal of textbook references to their slave owning. And before you think to turn it back round and rightly point out that barbarism was inspired by English law, last I checked, too stupid don't make us smart. That the whole point of the revolution was to break free of the old ways, and it certainly doesn't recommend your founders as the sort of persons one should aspire to become, unless you aspire to become a manipulative bigot. Lest you think I'm championing from championing some sort of leftist agenda, I'll gladly shame the internet tough guys who celebrate the Treaty of Tripoli as well. Shame on them for thinking it shows anything other than something taken straight out of the first grader's guide to international relations. Its intent wasn't to prove America wasn't a Christian nation. They were saying they weren't going to reignite the Crusades. No, that would be delayed for a couple centuries. Now, I don't believe your founding fathers wanted to establish a theocracy, and they probably did intend for the country to be welcoming of all religions, but this isn't proof of that. So the point I'm trying to make is that people might want to spend a little less time romanticizing manipulating the past, fat chance that, and a bit more time focusing on how to improve the future, fatter chance still. That's not to say there isn't plenty to be learned from looking back, because there is. It's just that most of these lessons wind up ignored or perverted these days. At least it's disingenuous and or at best, it's disingenuous and unproductive. At worst, and often, it's rather dangerous. Man, like I said, it's kind of crazy how heavily like it actually just connects to stuff that we're even going through
Look
now.
At that! I found a third power source.
Already?
It popped up in an earlier search, but I've only just managed to confirm it.
Where?
There's a museum in Cairo with one on display.
I guess Connor will have to wait.
No, you stay. We need to find that key, and time is running out. I'll make the trip.
What about Cross?
Everything's going to be fine. I'll be back soon.
Oh, my dad's definitely dead.
Ready when you are, Desmond.
Dead or kidnapped.
Winter approaches. The air is still and sharp with grim expectation. The others sense it too and go about their work with uncommon urgency. I would like to help them, but more pressing matters now demand my attention. The Templars have targeted George Washington directly, and will not rest until he is dead. I had hoped to shield him from this knowledge, but Thomas Hickey ended any hope I had of staying silent. And so I have resolved to share everything I know, of the Templars and their plots, of who I really am. Achilles finds fault in this, and we argue every day, but there is simply too much now at stake to maintain restraint.
Don't do this, Connor!
Then what would you propose we do? Sit and watch while the Templars take control? We are sworn to stop them, or have you forgotten?
Assassins are meant to be quiet, precise. We do not go announcing conspiracies from the rooftops to all who pass by.
Who are you to lecture anyone? You locked yourself away in this crumbling heap and gave up on the Brotherhood entirely. Since the day I arrived, you've done nothing but discourage me. And on the rare occasions you've chosen to help, you've done so little, you may as well have done nothing at all.
How dare you!
Then tell me, on whose watch did the Brotherhood falter? Whose inaction allowed the Templar Order to grow so large that it now controls an entire nation?
If I sought to dissuade you, it was because you knew nothing. If I was reluctant to contribute, it was because you were naive. 1,000 times you would have died and taken God knows how many with you. Let me tell you something, Connor. Life is not a fairy tale, and there are no happy endings.
No. Not when men like you are left in charge.
Damn. You tell him, bestie.
In your haste to save the world, boy, take care you don't destroy it. Ha!
I will say I do enjoy the parallel between the two of them. Because on one hand, I was like, I definitely get where Achilles is coming from, because, you know, life is about taking the time and everything, as I've mentioned in a previous video where I kind of ran about this a little bit, but it's like time is very, very important with a lot of this stuff, but also sometimes you can't let time just erode the ability to have action in the first place. It's like, Connor's making a pretty good point, because if you sit back and just let stuff happen, then you're never going to actually fix what you set out to fix. But again, if you rush too head on into things, then you run into the problem that you might either cause more harm than good, or get yourself killed or unable to continue in the process. I don't know. There's always a lot of thoughts. It's actually also funny too, because like I went to a college that we'll say has a very heavy influence from one of like the founding father types as like its main figure, and it's just like, okay, well, there are always good points to be made about a lot of that kind of vibe and what brings us to a certain situation. It's like, and it is easy to let a lot of stuff go unharmed because it's like, oh, well, you know, we wouldn't be here without this. It's like, yeah, but also it's not that simple, you know? There's so much stuff like that. It's like, it's never going to be as simple as black and white. And it's like, you know, even if someone does good, if they do a lot of bad to do that good, then does it really matter? Because if there's certain events that are, you know, destined to happen at some point, like there's a high probability that someone's going to come by and do it the right way. It just may take longer. Or, you know, again, there's always a chance for a parallel, or maybe it's just destined to happen in a bad way at first until we wise up to actually do it in a good way. I don't know. I always have a lot of thoughts about stuff like that, because it's like, again, it is very easy to just say one thing and pretend that, you know, if you were in the situation, you would be able to do things right and properly, but it's never really that easy either. So I guess at the end of the day, one of the main things to consider is that life is full of hard choices, and it's hard to figure out if what you're doing is the right thing until enough time has passed that you can view it from like an objective outside lens. And especially if it comes to you being the one making decisions, it's even harder to actually ever end up being objective because you're most likely going to back yourself up. You know, a lot of people tend to do the wrong thing, and even if they don't admit it to themselves, they sometimes know, and that's what makes them double down as hard as they do. It's funny, I just played 1000X Resist, which is absolutely a beautiful game, and it covers the topic of generational trauma, and there's a lot to learn from it, especially, you know, if it's not something you've ever thought much about, but it's a whole topic basically of like hurt people, so even if you don't realize that your actions have as big consequences as they do, is like the way that your parents treat you and the way that you treat your children. It was like, it all stems and runs through in a very similar way until someone has the courage to actually break it. And they have to be aware of all the stuff in the first place to be able to actually break it, and then be strong enough to know, like, hey, maybe this isn't the right thing and you can break it. So I don't know. I said lots and lots of thoughts there. Hey, Georgie. What's up,
Commander.
my guy?
Connor.
Any word on Lee?
Not yet. My apologies. I've been distracted. Supply caravans meant for the camp have gone missing. I suspect treachery. A traitor named Benjamin Church, recently released from prison, has vanished as well. The two events are surely related.
What was his crime?
He was caught sending letters to the Loyalists, detailing our troop strength. He claimed it was a scare tactic, that we might avoid war. A poor lie.
I will find Church for you.
Why? What reason have you to help?
Does it matter?
As you wish. We've received reports of trouble along the southern road. Might be he's responsible. I suggest you begin your search there.
Thank you, Mr. Washington. I also probably should take the time to actually read through a lot of the,
Ah, Connor. What do you think of my
Oh,
work thus
Lafayette.
far?
The men are bolstered, focused. It is good you have come.
say a lot of the
You are
anime's
too kind.
database entries.
Lord knows my journey was far from certain. The trials we suffered getting here were strange and many. I dressed as a woman, Connor, to evade British spies. Did you know that?
I did not. As a woman, you say?
It is the truth. King George had already stopped our crossing once in Bordeaux, threatening to seize my newly purchased ship, La Victoire, and arrest me. But I was born stubborn, and such a warning could not dissuade me. So we rode for Spain and bought passage aboard the ship there. George's spies had followed us every step of the way. Disguise was the only remaining option, mon Dieu.
No man can doubt your commitment, and you are invaluable to the cause. You did what you needed to do. I am certain I would have done the same.
But of course you would. I expect nothing less.
Let's go. Absolutely an icon. You know, it's like that's always been a common thing. I also feel like definitely like a common trope in a lot of stuff when it comes to war and spy stuff and general survival, especially in like olden times where it's like, oh yeah, you just dress as the opposite gender so you can avoid detection. Or you've got insane examples like She's the Man with, I think it's Amanda Bynes and Channing Tatum. Just what an absolutely insane movie. That's just truly a time, you know? I was like, if you have not seen it, I was like, it's definitely not a great movie. It's definitely got a lot of cringe to it that just secondhand embarrassment sometimes, just, you know, like, do you ever witness secondhand embarrassment and you're like, I would rather die than keep doing this? Sometimes it's like that. Although I'm sure there's probably a bunch of people that will listen to me talk in a format like this and be like, nope, I'm good. But it was like, on one hand, you know, I was like, honestly, that's totally fine. It was like, I am more comfortable with myself than I've ever been, so like, who cares? We're gonna get ambushed.
Father. Connor, any last words? Wait. A poor choice.
Come to check up on Church? Make sure he'd stolen enough for your British brothers?
Benjamin Church is no brother of mine. No more than the Redcoats or their idiot king. Oh, I expected naivete, but this... The Templars do not fight for the crown. We seek the same as you, boy. Freedom, justice, independence.
But...
But what?
Johnson, Pitcairn, Hickey, they sought to steal land, to sack towns, to murder George Washington.
Johnson sought to own the land, that we might keep it safe. Pitcairn aimed to encourage diplomacy, which you cocked up thoroughly enough to start a goddamn war. And Hickey? George Washington is a wretched leader. He's lost nearly every battle in which he's taken part. The man's racked with uncertainty and insecurity. Only look at Valley Forge to know my words are true. We're all better off without him. Look, much as I'd love to spar with you, Benjamin Church's mouth is as big as his ego. You clearly want the supplies he's stolen. I want him punished. Our interests are aligned.
What do you propose?
A truce. Perhaps some time together might do us good. You are my son, after all, and might still be saved from your ignorance. I can kill you now, if you prefer. Excellent. Shall we be off?
Do you even know where Benjamin Church has gone?
I'm afraid not. I'd hoped to ambush him when he or one of his men returned here. It seems I'm too late. They've come and cleared the place out.
I may be able to track him.
God, imagine if after all of this we end up getting into like the heel turn at the end.
There were
Hey, the minutes
rations
are convincing
inside the
us
crates.
they're actually the good guys.
Medical supplies and clothing as well.
I also wonder too, because it's like, so there's always the potential that, you know, especially with sides that shift as long as they do, like, this could be a period of time where maybe they had a point, or it's like severe doubt because the Templars have been evil for who knows how long, and they've always been misguided in thinking that they are doing the right thing when they're any means necessary instead of like
Snow has obscured the tracks, but enough remains that we can still follow.
Instead of, you know, hoping that they can figure something out. At least normal, like, peaceful means, at least. I don't know, it's like, I think it's nice that you're given a chance to question, you know? I think it's very rare to not just paint it as like, oh, you're always doing something
Just
right.
my luck. Going to freeze to death if I don't get this fixed.
Hey, buddy, we got a couple questions for you.
You Ben Church's man?
Well played.
Easy.
It was not wise to run.
What do you want?
Where is Benjamin Church?
I don't know. We was riding for a camp just north of here. It's where we normally unload the cargo. Maybe you'll find him there.
Enough of that.
You did not have to kill him.
Let's not waste time with all this pointless banter. Go catch up with the rest of Church's men. Infiltrate that camp of theirs and see what you can discover.
And what about you?
Never you mind. Just do as I ask.
Again, you can very clearly tell that he is a bad guy. He is typical British villain stereotype in this. So it's like, take back everything I said. I'm just like, even if he thinks he's doing the right thing, doesn't matter now. Do not hide in the hay cart while following the convoy.
A good haul today. Saw a bit of gunpowder in those crates. We'll get extra for that.
You know what, truthfully?
Church will be pleased.
Screw your
We'll be
optional
rich.
objective.
I almost feel bad for the Yanks, shivering and starving out there. It's a hard way to go. All they need to do is raise the white flag. They should have done that a long time ago. All this fighting serves no purpose. The Crown's sure to win in the end. To waste all those lives chasing a fool nation. Great.
Weird that the audio decided to get further away despite us not having moved from the space that we're at. Oh, really? Was that it for the eavesdropping? Okay.
All right, looks to be in order. Go and see the foreman. There's another run planned for tonight. I'll go bring the wagon and meet up with you later. Oi, where's the foreman? Center camp, near the tree. Can't miss it.
War man. This skipped 1, 2, and 3, and just went straight to 4.
About time you showed up. Listen here. Boss wants us to try something new tonight. A raid. No more convoys. With a steel from the Yank camp.
Oh.
That's right. You sure about this? It's not my business to be
No.
sure or not sure.
What? Sometimes he's...
Manifest? All right, looks to be in order. Go and see the foreman. There's another run planned for tonight. I'll go bring the wagon and meet up with you.
Foreman, what? They skipped 1 through 3, man? Sorry.
Oi, where's the foreman?
Center camp, near the tree. Can't miss it.
Thank you kindly.
You won't be thanking me when you hear what he's got planned.
One of my favorite phrases of "would you kindly," especially as someone who's like a big nerd about the BioShock series.
Listen here. Boss wants us to try something new tonight. A raid. No more convoys. We're to steal from the Yank camp itself.
Maybe someday we'll actually play through those games as well, just to kind of a little bit of that.
That's right. You sure about this? It's not my business to be sure or not sure.
A little bit of that
I just
extra
do as
nostalgia
Church
vibe,
asks.
you know.
If you're so concerned, take it up with him.
Is he you?
Of course not. Hiding in New York, the last I heard. Trying to keep a low profile. But on account of him not wanting to go back to jail and all.
All right, I'm in.
Look what we found.
There we go.
He was creeping around the camp all suspicious like.
Must be a Yank spy.
Nah, he's something else. Something special. Isn't that right, Hatham? Church told me all about you.
Then you should know better than this.
You're not really in a position to be making threats, are ya?
Not yet.
That's just kind of a funny thought. You're like, if we really want to, we could just kind of, we could just let him get beat up a little bit, you know?
Once you've dealt with these louts, meet me in New York.
What? You mean to just leave? Now?
If you can't handle a couple of mercenaries, then we've really no business working together.
Unbelievable.
Just like that to abandon us, huh? Oh. I like that I pressed the button to attack and he did the weapon flare, but he didn't go after the guy that was coming after him. Like, alright, see how it is. Might as well loot while we can. Of course, we got some new emails. Hopefully, speaking of, my dad's not dead. Also, kind of interesting to think about it too, with the whole parallel of Connor meeting his father kind of like later in life, and then being forced to work alongside him. Not that obviously it was like, I don't think Desmond is as or not Desmond, William Miles is as bad, but again, stuff to think about. Because, like, to some degree, you gotta wonder how intentional everything is when it's wrapped up together, or if it's by chance. Because there's always stuff like that, that if you take the time to think about it and observe, you can definitely make connections.
Yama.
I think that's what I also like about playing games and stuff like that, is trying to figure out what is or isn't intentional, or at least, you know, coming up with theories about how things are gonna go. Because, like, anytime I experience a plot, I enjoy thinking about what they intend to do with it. Because, like, obviously you run into it with a lot of games where it's like you can read some of the did you know facts, and it's like, oh, hey, you know, this happened this way because of something actually completely outside of the game. So it's like sometimes it's why you get weird development choices that don't fully fit with what you think would fit for the narrative of the game. And then sometimes it's as simple as like, oh, they were misleading you on purpose. So I don't know. I was like, and I haven't done enough research to know whether or not some of this stuff is intentional or anything, but part of being able to understand the literature, I believe, is knowing how to look past things. Because, you know, it was like in school, I was not a big fan of like literary analysis and stuff like that, but I think the problem was I didn't like doing the work for it, but I did like talking about it because there's a lot of interesting stuff you can gain if you pay attention to what's going on. Hey, you Bunyan whatever?
Here for a scrap? Let's get... Come on! Swing at me some more!
Yeah, take that. And that. And that.
Won't get far hitting me like that.
Oh yeah? You haven't even put a hand on me. Well, that kind of did, but it was cosmetic damage, not actual damage.
Come on! Swing at me some more!
Wow. Just straight up took me out of combat. I was like, I didn't press anything, I just happened to get pushed around the corner.
Won't get far hitting me like that.
Yeah. Almost did the whole fight flawless.
Right on my arse!
Oh cool, we're heading to New York, so we'll get to challenge him. And speaking of, you know what? Ah, we're almost there. We can walk. See if there's anything I can meaninglessly talk about on the way. I was actually trying to figure out, I was like, so I think some of the areas too are actually strong enough, the current's strong enough to push you. Which I think is like a nice little choice, because they definitely didn't have to do that. I think the one thing I've always realized about enjoying games is like, it's really, really hard for me to not like a game, you know? It was like, I've done a lot of, I've played a lot of games in the course of my life, and I've picked up a lot of random indie games, I've picked up a lot of random stuff. Definitely played a bunch of slop stuff too. And it's like, sometimes you just get really cool results without... What is this? Yeah. But even the bad games, I feel like there's always something to learn from. And that's always one of my things, where it's just like, if something is bad, unless it's so truthfully bad, or like, you know, poor just AI slop, like, I'll normally push myself to play it and then kind of see what comes of it. Because then I can at least be like, you know what, this is a bad experience, but we learned something along the way, and it took us a month to get over here? Damn.
How dare you call upon me after Monmouth?
I have nobody else to turn to. The Culper Ring informed me that West Point's been infiltrated. I believe they intend to murder Major General Benedict Arnold.
I still do not see why you need me.
The loss of such a figure would be devastating to the cause. It must be done without my soldiers' knowledge. The mere idea of the Patriots being breached would be crippling to morale, to the war. Will you do it?
It will be done. But never call on me again.
See, stuff like this is always weird because it's just like, what happened that would have caused this change, you know? It's like clearly there is something I am missing. Which is fine, but I was like, we literally are here in the first place because we've been trying to save him.
You can offer us. Beat us for begging. Just distract him for a moment, and we'll take what we need.
Oh.
How many eyes on us?
There you go. Enjoy your stuff, kiddos. It does seem, however, that I was like, if that icon is a sword like that, I was like, I wonder if we unlock a weapon for doing it. But again, nothing bugs me more than, because like Assassin's Creed 2, or I think it was Brotherhood, one of them had the issue where there was like DLC missions that were integrated into the game. And it's like, okay, so you go and you talk to Da Vinci and like he disappears because he's kidnapped or whatever and you're supposed to go get the paintings, but like that happens in the middle of the story, so it takes place in a completely different time than what you're in then, and it's like, why would you not set that as like its own thing that you can experience, or at least be more transparent about it before you start? Because the icon and the title of it really doesn't give me much to go off of. Which again, I'm sure just like minor gripes really, but a gripe nonetheless. Especially someone who cares a lot about story in games. Because I think truly if I'd ever stuck with doing stuff more, like that's what I would have wanted to focus on above all else, is narrative design. Because I've always been a big writer and I've always done a lot of writing and I enjoy it probably more than anything. And some of the most fun in the classes I've had was the story writing. Even though I kind of had a shitty professor for it. But I think that also speaks to how much I enjoyed it. So it's just little things like that where it's just like, you know what? Never fully launch into things. But eventually, the goal is get ourselves set up with enough support so we can then start putting money towards and funding our own ideas. So I was like, because I do want to play, or I do want to actually like make and develop games eventually, you know? And having a platform actually built up from here would actually do us so much good too. Because that's why like big content creators become such a good publisher as compared to like normal publishing methods, because they end up having a much better reach and end up doing a lot for a game's success just because of the amount of people that can see their stuff.
Evening, Connor. I see you made it here in one piece.
Recovered from your beating then?
One Piece? You're an anime fan?
Benjamin Church is holed up on an abandoned brewery on the waterfront. We should be done with this by sunrise.
Good. I would like to have those supplies returned as soon as possible.
Of course. I wouldn't want to keep you from your lost cause. Come along, then. Follow me.
Alright, Hatham. Man, nothing like climbing the rooftops with my dad. Too bad he's such a bad guy. We could have really had a relationship. But I know I must keep him at arm's length. For if I don't, it'll surely spell disaster for me and everyone involved.
Tell me something. Hmm? You could have killed me when we first met. What stayed your hand?
Curiosity. Any other questions?
What is it the Templars truly seek?
Order. Purpose. Direction. No more than that. It's your lot that means to confound with this nonsense talk of freedom. Time was. The assassins professed a far more sensible goal. That of peace.
Freedom is peace.
Oh no. It's an invitation to chaos. Only look at this little revolution your friends have started. I have stood before the Continental Congress and listened to them stamp and shout. All in the name of liberty. But it is just noise.
And this is why you favor Lee?
He understands the needs of this would-be nation far better than the jobberknolls who profess to represent it.
It seems your tongue has tasted sour grapes. The people have made their choice, and it was Washington.
The people chose nothing. It was done by a group of privileged cowards seeking only to enrich themselves. They convened in private and made a decision that would benefit them. Oh, they might have dressed it up with pretty words. That does not make it true. The only difference, Connor, the only difference between myself and those you aid is that I do not feign affection.
Yeah, you just lie and manipulate the same way to... I do think it's funny, though, because it was like... really just the pot calling the kettle black, you know? So again, I'm still really interested to see how this ends up going. Because I think literally it was like after there's the Ezio trilogy, I was like, we only get to see an individual character story every single game from like now on. I don't think there's normally like any returns or anything like that. Which is crazy because the first 4 games are all heavily linked. 1 bleeds into 2 and Brotherhood and Revelations.
Hold a moment. Church, you clever bastard.
What is it?
I was hoping I could wave you past the guards, but he's replaced most of them with men I don't know. Well, I should be able to pass without arousing suspicion, but you...
No.
You have to find another way in.
We do this together or not at all.
Then what do you propose?
I will find a guard who is off duty and take his uniform.
Very well. I will wait here, then.
Of course you will.
Oh, I'm sorry. Would you like me to come along and hold your hand, perhaps? Provide kind words of encouragement?
Thanks, Dad. It's like, yeah, actually, I would like that. God forbid a son has some of his dad's support, and I was gonna say the modern age. I was like, we're not in the modern age, but you get what I mean. Alright, let's see what we can do here. The real question is what is his patrol pattern? Because I guess would be that our intended solution is to hide in the veil and then lure him over, and then that way that's when we kill him. If he only goes back and forth between these 2 points. So I guess also, if this is the case, we just do this. We loot him. There you go.
That should suffice. Follow me.
Hold, strangers. You tread on private property. What business have you here?
The Father of Understanding guides us.
You I recognize, not the savage.
He is my son.
Tasted of the forest fruits, did you?
Gross.
Off you go, then.
Blech. Disgusting. Hate that. Definitely mouth has tasted sour grapes, as Connor so put it. Which I don't think that actually is how that would be used, but put a bad taste in my mouth, that's for sure.
It's locked. Give me a moment.
Must be strange for you, discovering my existence as you have.
I'm actually curious to know what your mother might have said about me. Always wondered what life might have been like had she and I stayed together. How is she, by the way?
Dead. Murdered.
What? I'm sorry to hear that.
Oh, you're sorry. I found my mother burning alive. I'll never forget her face as she sent me away. Charles Lee is responsible for her death by your order. And you're sorry.
It's impossible. I gave no such order. I spoke the opposite, in fact. I told them to give up the search for the precursor site. We were to focus on more practical pursuit.
It is done. And I'm all out of forgiveness.
Ah. Very interesting reveal there.
Benjamin Church, you stand accused of betraying the Templar Order and abandoning our principles in pursuit of personal gain. In consideration of your crime, I hereby sentence you to death.
No! You're too late. Church and the cargo are long gone. And I'm afraid you won't be in any condition to follow. We've chosen to stand with the victor. It's Britain who will win this war. You always did prefer principle to profit. Perhaps that's why your little kingdom started to crumble. It was a nice dream you had, but a dream is all it ever was. Look at the half-breed fight, like some feral dog. Best we put him down, boys.
Those two! Get them! Don't let them escape!
Ouch.
Get it! The Indian too! Take him down!
Oh, no, I hit.
That one! And he's half-breed! Surround them!
Oh, ouch. I hate when I press the buttons and sometimes it just kind of does its own thing. Oh, okay.
Where is Church?
I'll tell you. Anything you want. Only promise that you'll let me live.
You have my word.
He left yesterday.
Time for a good cop, bad cop
Took passage on a
situation.
trading sloop called the Welcome. Loaded half its hold with the supplies he stole from the Patriots. That's all I know, I swear. You promised.
And he kept his word. Let's go.
Nope. You know, they could have still very easily shot us, right? I guess unless like it somehow got us out of their accuracy range, but we were still right in the open.
We need to get out of here.
You don't say.
I do also think the inclines you can run up and them introducing like the V-shaped obstacles was actually a really smart choice for helping vary how you actually traverse through things.
So close, yet so far. You'll need to find a way around the flames.
Get back here, traitors!
Oh, how I'll enjoy
Okay.
paying for your betrayal. Did church pay you well? Were you rewarded handsomely? And what good does your gold do you now? Is it magic gold, do you think? Like the one they spun the fleece from? You think it will shield you from the flames?
Okay.
I thought you had this all sewn up. Why do you run from us, hmm? You should see their faces, son. The fear, the panic. By this
What? I'm gonna lose it.
Patient, Connor. You really must catch up, or I'll be forced to kill them myself. Besides, I don't think the building is long for this world.
Why? I literally just can't. This is so annoying. Why am I not allowed to? Like, am I doing something wrong? I literally am pushing the exact button that they asked me to. Okay. I didn't just do that 20 times and then have it randomly work the last time. Cool. And the thing that gets me, because again, it's literally like a... Oh, well, that takes care of that. But it's like a story scripted sequence, so like, why wouldn't it be set up to make it easier, you know?
Find something to pry it open. Connor? What are you up to? Oh, no. Don't do that. There's no way of knowing what's on the other side.
We do now.
See, it's just like how it's mentioned in Spider-Verse. Sometimes you just gotta take the leap.
Church is at least a day on us. We must move quickly if we're to catch him.
I have a ship we can use. Meet me on the pier when you're ready.
The foam and the flames. Alright. And you know what? I think that is a great place to call it. We've got a little bit of intrigue about what happened to our mom now, and knowing that it wasn't under our father's orders, apparently, at least according to him. And you can tell by the way that he reacted, he has like genuine sadness for it, so there's a chance he may yet, if he doesn't sway us, he might be swayed to join us. Or we end up having to kill him anyways. So we'll hopefully find out soon, but thank you very much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you did, don't forget to like, subscribe, and all that fun jazz, and I will see you in the next one.